Welcome everybody, Steve Roach here at ActionGrid. This is a special version of the ActionGrid overview webinar just for Salesforce SEs, and hopefully it'll be distributed as a recording on Chatter or something like that. So because it is a small crowd, I've unmuted any phones that want to be unmuted, and you can certainly ask any questions. Since this isn't going to be a recording, I don't want to bore anybody with PowerPoint slides, but I do want to just get the slides on the recording. So we'll just quickly go through why we created ActionGrid, but I won't speak to them. Just it's disruptive innovation, kind of like the guy in the map living blissfully, and then the guy on your GPS. You know, a lot of people don't know they could be doing this. List view challenges, lots of them, certainly no Excel-like experience. We're hoping with Lightning that we'll have better grid experience and an overall better experience. I know most SEs are demoing with Lightning now, but it's still not going to be even close to the ActionGrid experience. List view challenges, you know, we can do cross objects and all kinds of stuff, and out-of-box Salesforce cannot do that. And then related list challenges. This is where you could really use this in Lightning, is to solve all of the difficulties with working with related lists. And our pitch to normal prospects and customers is our reports, our ActionGrid is actionable, meaning you can use it as a report writer, but you can take actions like mass update, batch add, batch email, just a wide variety, even batch texting now. So let's get right to a demo. I'm going to do this again a little bit differently than I would to a prospect list, because I realized really what a Salesforce engineer wants to know is how fast can I get this up and running, utilize one or two little features, how do I turn off the rest of the stuff, because usually you don't want to scare people. So we're going to really focus on those kind of features, and I can always supplement with what ActionGrid does in other videos or questions. So I really want to have this be more of a useful session for how to configure ActionGrid. But I will just show you 2 or 3 places where you would use an ActionGrid. First off, an ActionGrid itself is really just a Visualforce page, and we have all of these Visualforce wizards, creation wizards, to create these Visualforce pages. Great use case of ActionGrid would be on a dashboard. Being able to put this Visualforce page down on a dashboard, and now you've got a fully editable add in place grid with sorting, conditional color, grouping, a reading pane to give yourself a fighting chance to read your activities. You know, that's hugely important for people, is to be able to, you know, spin through those activities and actually read the stuff or import their emails and so forth. Second place that you'll see an ActionGrid is on the related list itself. So we can use ActionGrid to replace the related list experience. Now I will, right at the end, just so I don't have too much switching, I'll switch to Lightning and just show you how that's going to look in the Lightning paradigm. But we're Lightning certified, one of the first 10 apps to get Lightning certified, because you can see that we already kind of have that. So related lists, you know, we're tackling all these challenges with the related list, and with one, you're going to count them 3 total clicks to get this, to be able to actually reproduce an entire set of related lists. And here, then, you, of course, have all the goodness of add in place, you know, being able to quickly add records to the rows, or the reading panes, and so on and so forth. So being able to quickly be working with that grid in the related list environment. You'll also notice in this particular one, we're breaking that paradigm of the one object, one page layout thing. We have no restrictions whatsoever. We have no column restrictions, nothing really like that here. So as we go down through here, so as we get to this, the next level that will show the 3rd access point, I'll show 3rd and 4th access point, is using ActionGrid as a tab. Unfortunately, in Lightning yet, we don't have the ability to put those down the side so it's going to appear in the apps, but in the regular classic mode, we can use it as a tab, and not only as a regular tab, a single tab, but we can use ActionGrid as a multi-tab. So again, since it's a visual force page and we have a wizard that will create this, we're unconstrained by the number of views that you can have, and you can change this paradigm from the typical paradigm of list views, up and down, pulling from a list, and flip that to a tab type of experience, where you'll see in the wizard, this is just, these tabs are hooked to a particular view. So in this case here, I've got the this month view, and I've actually hidden my view button. So that's one thing you'll want to do, is learn how to hide stuff, hide complexity from this. And we do that by really going right over here to this little caret and seeing everything is right here. Our configuration is all in one screen, no pop-ups, nothing like that. If you want to add fields, you just add fields. You'll see here we can go up into parent objects, so we can go 5 levels up. If you desire something from a parent object, you can go up and up and up as you will. I won't show that just for speed. And I want to show the configuration of the toolbar. Just in case that freaks you out there, you can just turn on and off the view menu, but you can see this view is really just hooked to the this month view, and this one is the by stage view. So it's just different different views, and really, like I said, you guys are all smart folks, and you'll be able to figure out conditional color and sorting and grouping, and the fact that we have, you know, multi-column sorting and grouping, just little nuances that you might not discover. I'll just click on the right click here to do features like freeze column. Now that you have no limits on the number of columns that you have, you're going to need to do something like a freeze column, where I'll go and do it back on this one, where you might have to freeze the column so that if you get yourself into a situation, I'll kind of artificially make it here with my reading pane, where, you know, scrolling would be, you know, a hardship. You might lose where you are in the row. The freeze column, mimicking Salesforce or Excel's freeze column feature, could be useful. Okay. Now, just speaking lastly on the configuration, at least here on the grid and the views themselves, you'll see the concept of the related list. So we can show the related list right in the grid. And if we want to see any kind of data here, this is all added in place. So if you want to add a quick row here, you just really just do that very easily. If you want to edit any rows here, you can do that just as easily. You know, save your changes and work with that. Even inline, you know, chatter from the records. You can actually expose other little forms in the reading pane. These are more of the sophisticated concepts, where this is another visual force page that can be placed in these reading panes. So a lot of different use cases, and you just toggle this button on and off. Lastly, making sure that we understand a little bit about conditional color. I've been helping some SEs lately on some really powerful conditional coloring rules. So that conditional color drives behavior. You know, it's really sexy to show in a demo too. People seem to really like it, especially sales VPs and executives that are looking to drive behaviors and looking for dirty data with their reps. So the way that this works is you just define a rule. You'll give it a name. You'll see in the hover help that the actual rule name shows up. So people often put little messages in there. And just to show you where that is and not delve too deep into how to do it and so forth, you'll see some other features here under the configure. But conditional formatting, you just make yourself a new rule, choose a field, you know, something like this, big deals, make them green, make them bold, whatever, over a certain value. You know, now make the deal go a certain value. Now I've actually already done that one, but really it's most powerful with date map. So there's all kinds of cool little formulas that you can do. It's an advanced formula editor with all kinds of date operators that you might think of, date diff and date add and so forth, as you're getting complex for a possible demo, let's say. And that same formula editor is used for on-the-fly formulas as well, which I won't demonstrate, but just suffice it to say, if Excel has a feature, we try to mimic that same feature, but keeping people in the platform. Commonly, people will ask, can I export this to Excel? And while we do indeed have an export to Excel, that kind of defeats the purpose to do that. But while we're here, I just want to show quickly the features like mass update and batch editing. So very simple to use. Mass updating, like so. You just do it in line, and you can lasso some rows like so, and use this function called fill down. That's a poor man's mass update. You can also use the professional mass update, which can do 49 million rows of data if you like. It's very powerful mass update tools. We've got all kinds of things like batch adding of tasks, and actually a lot of SEs have asked me for custom batch adds, and so this is a completely customizable menu. So batch add anything, batch add some tasks to these, and it just pops up a little window. This is all controlled with a field set, so completely configurable and quite easy to learn. So that would batch add data. Batch editing is different than batch adding data. So very nice little feature there. I'm just going to pause here for one last second and show a neat little feature that we just added. This can be useful if you're ever in a par.engage situation. We do have batch email from the grid. Let me scoot that up. So you can take some records like so. And you can use some of the actionability of this, such as sending email, or now we even have batch SMS using an integration with SMS Magic. So you can batch text people, batch email people. If you're using these options to batch email, it's using Salesforce's templates. Salesforce templates will pop up and prompt you, and it of course is limited by the Salesforce rules of 200 per day, but nice for a salesperson. SMS Magic is, like I said, it's pretty cool. And then par.engage integration, because who wants to go down into each individual record and press the par.engage button to send individual emails. So we better get to some configuration. So how did we do these sort of tabs? And for this, I'm going to switch to a brand new system that hardly has anything done to it. So this is more of the experience right after you install ActionGrid. You would have no tabs configured yet. Nothing is done, right? So what you can do is you can use this ActionGrid Explorer to spin around. It's basically an object browser, but you're not going to really ever demo from ActionGrid Explorer. Okay, this one has never had any views created, so you would have to save your view and create your columns or whatever it is you're looking at. So I just show that as the fourth way of accessing ActionGrid. But primarily, you're going to want to have tabs and related lists, and then have that look nice in the Lightning interface. So what we do is we go to ActionGrid Setup, and we choose the object for which we're desiring. In this case, I'm going to choose contacts here, or accounts, sorry. I'll choose accounts. And if we look here at our account record, okay, we'll see a standard old related list, nothing fancy about this. But with ActionGrid, one click to get there, and then we're going to use these different wizards to either create tabs across the top with these set of wizards, or page layout sort of items, which are hooked contextually to the particular object that you're on. So these are not hooked to anything, and these have to actually pass in the ID of the object that you're on. So I'm just going to click this guy here, and if you do have multiple layouts, it's going to prompt you because you might have different layouts per page. So I'm going to just choose this one, and I will leave everything else the same. Takes just a second to build it. but it makes a visual force page. And I won't drill into that now. You'll see what the visual force page is. It's the AG NFL account. So all I do here is I just go to my layout, go to my visual force pages. Luckily, I've made a section already, but I'll just drag that bad boy down into here, give it a little height because the default in Salesforce isn't high enough for us. So we'll make it about 500 pixels high. And save that. So not counting the Salesforce clicks, it was actually 2 clicks to do it, and you've got yourself an actual instant better interface. So, all you got to do here is probably get this, what I recommend to everybody is hide those toolbars, hide everything quickly, like so, and then save that view. So when you save that view, if it's hidden, you can't really tell, but if you save that view, just save it with the reading pane probably on and the toolbar off. That will be the lightest experience for you. Okay. Now I want to just quickly show the other wizard, the multi-tab wizard here. We'll dismiss this guy, and we'll just use this multi-tab for regular tab creation. And that's just going to make a regular old Salesforce tab. This one's a little different. This one prompts you for different objects. So you might say, I want the accounts object, and I want a particular view, or maybe a different one would be the opportunity object here. And I'll say, you know what, I want it to make the views for me. And I want a this month view and add another tab. And I want, same deal, I want another new view, and I'll make it the next month. And maybe you want to make a My Opportunities, something like that. So you can see very quickly that I'm kind of doing this totally on the fly, my open ops. Okay, and you can mix and match objects, anything you want in there. Once you're done, you save and finish. Since you're all very technical, you don't need to know how to put a visual force page on a tab. Just suffice it to say the rest of the work is Salesforce work. So what you do is, here's the visual force page, just so you see it. It's really quite documented quite well. So if you need to edit anything like that, it's really quite easy. It's just the tabs themselves are here in these LI tags, and the guts of those tabs are here. And all I need to really do is just add a Salesforce tab to be able to do that. Right. So I want to finish up by showing this in the Lightning interface here. So I'm going to switch to Lightning. Unless I can't do it on this particular system, and I can't, sorry. I'll switch this one to Lightning Experience. I want to show how that works real fast. So with Lightning, unfortunately right now, no app vendors can put their stuff here, although we're hoping, to be able to do that soon. We hear that that's coming in the next version. So we have to access the primary lists and so forth via the app launcher. So that's a little awkward, but it is possible to do that. It shows up just dandy in the screen because we were always a visual force page, and of course Lightning fully supports visual force page, so no differences there. Some differences here in the actual page layout. So when we're in the page layout, unless you have deleted your actual related lists, so your related lists are really still there, and they're in the Lightning sort of format, that card view. But I'm always kind of very concerned for Lightning, because what if I have to sort and do anything decent with this? So long live ActionGrid and tools like that, because we'll still need the grid paradigm. The grid paradigm ain't going away. So we need to be able to still be in here and work with our data like so. So if we look in here, we still have, I can turn off the reading pane. And then here's where I really think ActionGrid lives long and prospers, is even if we have this sort of lightning experience, what is the major thing that was forgotten here is I don't want to click into each activity to see and read those notes. I want my ActionGrid to be able to quickly spin through those notes just like so and read those. And I'm told also that the next version of Lightning is going to have this area be configurable, and certainly people are going to demand that this is really nice looking, but they're going to demand that we have some more real estate for customization and so forth. So great little use case here of where reading pane is going to be useful still. So with that, I'm going to pause for a moment. We went just a little long, 2 minutes long. But see if we have any questions. I'll unmute the mics, or you can just submit your question through the webinar question section. And if we don't have any questions, then I'll just show you how to get ActionGrid and explain some of the things around that. We still have people on the line, so I'm going to take all the time that I can. I just want to show quickly one more thing about ActionGrid setup, and that is the common thing to be able to want to turn stuff off, right? ActionGrid can sometimes be too much and intimidating. So one of the things you can do is on that action menu, every single thing has an on-off switch. It is set to inherit by default. The definition we say of inherit is to inherit from Salesforce's security model. So whoever the current user is, they're going to get all of this stuff if they, for instance, have the ability to add accounts, in this case, then they're going to have the ability to add in place for accounts. If they have the ability to edit something, they're going to have an edit button, and they're going to have the fill down and mass update, because what's really the difference? But if that freaks you out, then you just turn everything off. And you can do so at the user level, at all users, and at the profile level. So you can really, most of the times that I have helped Salesforce engineers, it's been to turn off the complexity of different things. I also turned off a lot of the complexity in the fields. So all of the fields can be controlled, whether at the field level they are mass updatable or not. And that same paradigm works. If the field is editable on the form, on the actual page layout, then ActionGrid's thinking, hey, it's editable. So I'm going to let them mass edit it, inline edit it, make it visible, and all of those sorts of things. So just beware of those two concepts, and then you'll be set, really. There's a few more configuration things, but as you spin around through that, I think you'll figure out most of the ActionGrid app, and I'm happy to take any questions from you. You have our contact information, so just give us a buzz if you need any help. And I thank everybody. I don't think there's any additional questions. Okay, then we'll wrap that up. And a couple of things here just for the SEs that might be watching this. You can get ActionGrid, put it into your demo org. We have an automated, well, it's somewhat automated system that detects it's a Salesforce sales engineer, and will crank up that license till the end of the year, so you don't ever have to worry about it expiring. And we're always here to help you guys close deals. So give us your challenges, especially, hard conditional coloring problems, hard view problems, people are wanting to show grandchild data on an object, anything like that, we're really happy to take on that challenge and help you out and not get in your way, basically. So thanks, and go get some Salesforce deals.